Samsung is getting ready to bring back its own processor chips in a big way. After facing issues with its last chip, the Exynos 2500, Samsung now has its sights set on the upcoming Exynos 2600, which could power next year's Galaxy S26 smartphones. Let's take a quick step back. Samsung originally planned to use the Exynos 2500 chip in the Galaxy S25 series. It was built using Samsung's new 3-in process, which is supposed to make chips faster and more efficient. But there was a problem. Samsung couldn't make enough good quality chips from each batch, which is known as having a low yield. Because of this, they had to scrap the plan and use only Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 Elite chip in the Galaxy S25 lineup. Surprisingly, this decision wasn't bad at all. In fact, most users were happy with it because Snapdragon chips have been more reliable and powerful than Exynos ones in recent years. Now Samsung is trying again, this time with the Exynos 2600. It will be built using a new and even more advanced 2-in process, which means it could be faster and use less battery. It's a bold move, especially since they had problems making chips with 3-in tech before, but things seem to be improving. A new report from South Korea says Samsung's chip-making factory, Samsung Foundry, has reached a 40% yield rate for its 2-in chips. That means 4 out of 10 chips they make are good enough to be used. While that's still far from perfect, most companies aim for 70%, 80% yield before full production. It shows progress. The report also says Samsung may start mass production of the Exynos 2600 in November 2025. If that happens, it could be ready just in time for the Galaxy S26 launch. For comparison, TSMC, a top chipmaker used by Apple and others, currently has a 60% yield for its 2-in process. So Samsung is still behind, but they're getting closer. If Samsung can increase yields in the next few months, they might finally compete with TSMC in making high-tech chips. So what makes the Exynos 2600 special? While Samsung hasn't shared full details yet, it's expected to bring better CPU and GPU performance, improved battery life, and cooler operation. This could help Samsung win back trust in its chips. Over the years, many users have avoided Exynos phones because of overheating, lag, or poor battery life compared to Snapdragon-powered devices. Samsung knows it needs to fix those issues if it wants people to give Exynos another chance. The smartphone world is getting more competitive. Apple keeps improving its chips, and Qualcomm continues to dominate Android phones. If Samsung wants to stay in the game, it needs a strong processor of its own. That's why the success of the Exynos 2600 is so important. Still, there's a long road ahead. A 40% yield is good progress, but it's not enough yet. Samsung must quickly boost production quality and make sure the final chip performs well, not just in tests, but in real life too. Users will want a phone that stays cool, runs smoothly, and doesn't drain the battery too fast. There's also the matter of trust. Many users still remember bad experiences with older Exynos phones. Samsung needs to prove the Exynos 2600 is reliable and powerful. Only then will users start believing in it again. So will the Galaxy S26 be the phone that marks the return of Exynos? It's possible, especially if Samsung can hit its production goals and deliver a solid chip. The next few months will be very important. For now, the Galaxy S25 series remains the best option for users who want a flagship Samsung phone, thanks to the powerful Snapdragon chip inside. But if Samsung can pull this off, the Galaxy S26 might be the start of a new chapter, where Samsung uses its own chip to power its top smartphones once again. Let's wait and see if Exynos is ready to make a strong comeback. So far, things are looking hopeful.